Okay, somebody's asking a question about the diagonal lines and should you abandon the idea of using diagonal lines because this kind of trend view as opposed to the vacuum fill auction view. So if you look at auction theory, it's really just about the market spikes, it retraces, trades over. Whether it spiked down before it spiked up, or it could spike up, spike down. This is the gold market on a 4-hour chart with a dollar grid. So when you have the 100 or the 10 pip grid turns into a dollar here. That's easy to see here. Um, for the auction traders that don't have a moving average and they don't have the guys that are getting in at the edge of the market, maybe on predetermined limits, because we can all see this 4-hour lower highs building pressure up. And without regard to a moving average, I think what is fueling this vicious pullback to here is this window of supply and demand. Look at this. That's a 12 cent. That's like the spread. But if you sold there on a bid, you know you got filled. You do know that it was a real trade. If you're willing to put your orders on this window, and you would have them, you'd have to use this technique up here. If you're going to sell a tenth of just the smallest increment you can get apart here, whatever the smallest tick is on gold, I don't know what it is. Here it looks like it's down to the penny. Penny, 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 penny. And then your first target has to be here. This is the last known breakout point. The buyers are supposed to come in here, don't forget. In the world of breakout pullback confirmation, that's another rule set that people always call off, but I think they don't realize that if you told a robot that, if anybody tried to build a robot and you told them that criteria, they just blow up the account. When you look at that rule list here in the structure of things, it's a different situation. You just can't have a blanket rule like that. You can't approach these markets blind to the overall structure that you live inside of. And, the wallpaper is the wicks, and the foundation, price over time. I was just looking at the martingale. Once you go down this rabbit hole of price over time, there's actually a whole, people just donated their lives to science and stuff, talking about martingale and Brownian motion and the whole thing. And trying to build, these guys on Wall Street are trying to build algos based on chaos, Well, I think that you can count on some chaos. You can also count on the auction theory being probably the most disturbing way to make money, because it doesn't fall into this moving average category that's going to be so much more of a storybook. There's also the people that like the blackboard of the, don't forget the no nonsense Forex crowd loves the fact that he's not showing the charts. He's just spelling it out like, here's the blackboard, okay, people. And today's list, and people just love that checklist shit. They do. Some people. Like some people in the United States. But on the other hand, I'm totally visual. So for me, I do get the closing line chart thing, and if you do draw it on closes, then it makes sense because it's a trend. And here it would be your first time that you could draw a trend line. But then here's why trend line trading is going to be considered to be worthless, is because it didn't hold that trend line. In fact, it broke, and you were supposed to, now what is the rule for the trend line? Nobody ever talks about that. People say trend lines don't work, but if you don't have a strict rule for them, but I'm not saying this is the way. This is just one way to look at the market. I don't think it makes as much money as auction trading, to be honest with you, because as you can see here, it's hard to get away from the where the market's kind of going. But since it's going there in pulses that are so vicious, I mean, unless you got in before the vicious price pulse, like what was the risk here? Come on, be honest. Let's imagine you bought. Okay, here's the argument for the trend line. Look, I bought at this trend line. I bought this one too. I know it broke, but I don't give a fuck. I got in based on that trend line and I put a stop here. Huh. Look at you. Who's the winner now? What is your rule list? I mean, when people talk about back testing, are they seriously going to, if your structure back testing is different than if you're going to do dollar risk testing, like you're going to just do some dumb shit. 1% of your account, run a trailing stop of 0.5 of the ATR of 14? Huh? Dude, you're just like asking like a smart car that's got brain damage to drive you down the highway, like a self-driving car with brain damage. No. Look at this seller window here. Look at this vicious thing. Look how this thing just goes wick to wick, just stop hunting every fucking goober. But in the meantime, it's very, very quiet. Meantime, there's people that are trading on the 4-hour chart at the market. They're going, well, we're going to sell here on limits. We think this is resistance. We think this is going to be where it's going to turn around. There's a guy out there that's going to say, you know what I'm going to do? I can see this here. I'm going to put sell limits here. Even though we're down here now, and I just bought on this stop hunt. Are you a guy that buys a $2 stop hunt on or $1 stop hunt on the gold all day long or all week long, looking for this giant zooming move? Gee, I wonder what caused that. Gosh, I wonder if it could be this big fucking whole disastrous smash down left behind. I can't even imagine why it would bounce off of here. Like when bottoms, so this guy emailed me and talking about bottoms become tops. Yes, they do on time. But this is also kind of a distortion because you could go to 4 different brokers and get 4 different 4-hour charts, you know. So in the 1-hour chart, let's go to the 1-hour chart. Even though it's a little busy and we have to compress it just to make it fair. So psychologically we can see the pivots, you know. Now, I wouldn't even think of going to a 15-minute chart if I was going to try to swing trade it or really cut down on my signals. Like, so if you're in the 15-minute chart and you treat that as it's up, sell, down, buy. I mean, this is very active trading, and the spread's going to bite you in the ass if the instrument has a brutal spread. But, okay, on the 1-hour chart, I would trade this in a completely different manner if I was going to run wide stops. I'm going to buy everything below here next week on gold. If I was going to, then I'd sell everything above here. That'd be a no-brainer. I already knew this price existed. And when they came roaring back through this thing and took that out, people were like, whoa, shit. But why does it turn around on this 1-hour window here? Why does it turn around in that little undercut up there? Why do sellers start coming in like horrors at this price? Because it's the last known high in the whole balance of everything. It qualifies, like if you told somebody, look back at this price level and look for the highest high or the lowest high. But if you tell a robot that, he's going to go, what about this? What about that? Okay, but dude, this is a giant hole. This is a narrow hole. This slot is the buyer's slot. But so is all the way down. Are you a gold bug? I mean, some gold guy be like, fuck. Well, the structure guys on close are going to buy here for certain. That's $1 wick on that, on a 1-hour chart. There's $1 wick. So you could actually put your sell limits above close in this wick window and just keep selling. The same thing on the buy side. You're going to take $2 of punishment. See, you see this auction here? Like this is the hourly chart. I'm not going to trade this like breakout on the hourly. Fuck that. I would just go play the market maker game on the hourly because I'm not going to sit there and look at the fucking 1 hour. Look, it's a tight thing. Let's trade breakout. I'm just speaking on the 4 hour. You know, this is, you could trade a breakout on the 4 hour chart, just a small bar breakout. But this is, if you were trying to trade the gold like that, you might as well just get the fucking into the market as it's pulling back. You're not going to trade are you really? Okay, maybe you are. But if you ran a stop pot like that, it would blow up. Right? In other words, you'd have to have 100 stop bots. One's a scalp bot, one's a kind of scalp bot, one's a giant expansion move bot, right? You couldn't just keep launching the same stupid trade plan with the same stop. That's another problem. You got to have trades that fit this what you're going to do. If it's going to be a swing trade, 300 pip stop, you may be 150 pips underwater. Then it retraces and you're like, oh yeah, I guess we're to the floor. I guess I can just bail on that. Like, so the dollar yen still dropping. Dollar CAD is all the way back to the internal. So I'm actually buying dollar CAD here. I hate to say it, but I'm trading the CAD. And I have buy limits pending 109. I'm slightly long now, but if it digs deeper by the end, I'm going to get in. So, but the British pound is pulling back, so I'll buy that. But that's not until Sunday. Okay, so here on this gold chart, this is the classic auction theory, just totally like takes out the low of the previous day. There is a scalp there for 1 hour, rips back to the sellers are supposed to come in here. Don't forget the rule is if the rule is broken, look out, right? The sellers do come in there. It breaks out, they come in, they sell it down one more, right? So you're right. It went down. Look at you. But every time it goes up, there's somebody on the other side of that, and every time it goes down, there's somebody on the other side of that. And you got to figure out, the game is to figure out how many people are on the other side of that. What is the supply zone here? And here when you go crushing down $3 and just wipe out this, if you go to the 4 hour chart, well, you haven't even reached this price yet. So there are people that are willing to buy everything below this wick. And they were able to make that a winner eventually with a wide enough stop, right? Because it came all the way back to that and overshot that. There are other people that are willing to buy all the way to here, scalp for that bounce, or all the way to here, and they're disappointed they didn't get filled down here. There's people that are saying, God, I wish I should have just... So what's the cure for that? Well, just get in at the market then. If it's down heavy, you get in the market, dead cat bounce here. But if you're the guy that has the limits starting here, you are now above water. But if you didn't have enough limits in here and it's down, you'd buy this, which is now a winner. You'd buy this. You wouldn't buy that up. And on all your marketers, now you're buying with tighter stops, and maybe you got stopped out of here, but then you're going to buy heavy here. So that's the 4 hour chart. Now, in the 4 hour chart, you could have traded a breakout strategy here and just gone to a hedge on this 4 hour, right? It's not going to overtrade you because the criteria is what is the high and low in the past 4 hours? So you think that the no-nonsense Forex guy has found the Holy Grail. No, the Holy Grail is just complete static assessment. Just saying that the market, dude, we haven't gone anywhere. We haven't gone anywhere. What's going to happen? Look at this. After it smashes around, no breakout trader in his right mind is going to put a buy stop and a sell stop. Well, I mean, it just doesn't, it's not breakout trading. You're fucking nuts. If you're going to put a buy stop here and a sell stop here, you're risking that. If they whipsaw you here, you're going to feel it. If they look at this clean breakout here, and here's the trap, right? So it's very quiet, and you have the trend lines that you have. Well, you have a pattern here where it's the trend. I'm just using the trend line as a notification that we have a lack of volatility, which is causing a triangle or a wedge or a cone. And you also have the flag factor. When it goes sideways like this is a flag. People trade flags, but I think you got to get in on what you perceive to be. If you're going to range trade this inside, if you auction trade this inside your other trade plan, I don't know how many people are doing that because, well, even if you're not doing that, you should be able to see what's going on and say, I know what's going on here. Okay, they're going to range it. There's another chance for me to get short. I think it's very difficult for people to think like that. They're happy to just get one trade out of there without getting stopped out. And if they're in any kind of size, they're going to feel it. So if you sold here and you wrote it down to here, are you really going to add here going, I got a double top. It's crazy. I love that shit. Which means I'm in the middle of a potential flag is forming right now. There's no confirmation that there is a flag. You have to assume, and people don't assume anything. Make sure you double check everything. You're trading with money, Okay, are we flagging out now in gold? Yeah, right. But if we think this is a flag, we are going to buy here. We're going to buy at the middle fair value. We're going to put a buy limit here. If you're streaming in buy limits like this on gold, and then you look back and you go, oh my God, all we do is fucking put these in at goddamn every dollar I'm buying? That's stupid. What about all that thinking I was doing? And the fact that you could draw a trend line here and claim, oh, look at this is the early warning. Of course, this is the trend line here, right? Oh, my argument is the trend line broke, so I get out of that. The rules that you put around any analysis you're doing, people say, well, we're technical analysts. Yeah, but what is the result? I just online here trying to do a transaction with somebody, and you can't believe it, man. When you ask somebody a question, they don't give you an answer. They don't even hear what you're saying. They've already got a narrative like a sovereign citizen, like I'm just traveling. No, this car's not for hire. Can't you see what's going on here? Like, dude, I'm a member of the planet Earth. Leave me the fuck alone. And could there be a possible stop hunt to China down here next week? Yeah. Now this would be, I would say you better prepare for the end of the world here. If gold plunges into here next week for some reason, but right now is it flagging out as a bullish? Yeah. Could you have bought this? You could have claimed, oh, honey, don't worry, I'm buying this top. Last known top. It broke out, pulled back, retested. Yeah, I think that, and here, I haven't got filled yet. I'm waiting to get filled here, but I think this does matter. This is a 4-hour top, 4-hour tops matter. Plus, you're not going to overtrade the account. Honey, I shrunk the trading account. This is the lonely. We should see all sorts of sellers and supply or demand up here. We should see people scalping off of this rooftop to come, right? Are you going to wait for that? Well, probably not if you're this is the problem I used to have watching empowered trading. I thought, oh my God, it's more like disempowered trading. Like, don't trade. What we're going to do here, see, people, is we're in a long-term downtrend. And this is if they had a clue over there at empowered trading when they used to, can you see this ledge up here that people are going to sell like motherfuckers? I know they're not fib handles and I know they're not Gartleys, but they would literally say, well, we're going to wait for it to come up here because our target's down here, see, or it's below this shit. And I was like, why are you telling people these 800 pip trades that are so fucking harebrained? I mean, if any of that trade turns out, I'll fucking kill myself with my pip gun. I'll just shoot myself to death because we know that if gold tips into this window, it's probably going to crush quickly to here. We know sellers are going to come like a rape date off of this. The more I think about it, the more I think Jigsaw, although Jigsaw holds in context all the past Jigsaws because it's all about Jigsaw. It wants to be all Jigsaw-y. This doesn't matter anymore. That's been tagged and bagged, people. So has this. This is gone. That market don't see that shit no more. That auction, that extreme rape date, it's gone. So is this one. I like to hear. Well, I'm sure this is where don't forget, we can make arguments against every technical. If you can't see the flaw in it, then you just can't. The trend line that some guy drew here, of course, this is the old trend line break, come back and find resistance. We get in here, confirmation on trend line. Okay, and you could do that also for our chart. And you can make those claims, but what is your rule list? Are you really going to do that trade? Or are you looking for this? The stop hunt of the bears that have trailing stops as this thing comes walking down here. Walking down. Smashing down. Trailing stop. Up. Money management stop hunt. Oh, now let's really take off. Let's really crush this price. Let's crush here. Crush. And when we get below here, here is the bottom becoming a top for a little bit, kind of. But then more meltdown. But the problem with trading is this world here, which is totally tradable, as you can see. You're buying here. Maybe you're buying here. Very aggressive. But if you buy here and no fills here, right? It's too deep. Buy, dump. Here's the stop hunt here. If you go stop hunt to stop hunt, you're range trading this whole fucking thing. Can you make the claim that this is the first trend line you can draw? Yeah. Can you make the claim that this is a double bottom becoming a top at the breakout of the apex of that triangle? Yeah. But what's your rule list for this? To accumulate here and assume that, yeah, you know what, this thing's going to fucking fade. Or do you have limits in that window? Can you see why this wick is so much the lowest risk trade? If you have orders on that top, on these tops, which represents about 16 hours of bullshit, when they punch up there and they just punch there, you don't even have to be there for that trade. When the market's here, you can be placing sell limits here. Right? When the market is up here, you can be placing buy limits down here. So you're always trading against. You have buy limits here. You got sell limits here. Right? If you don't want to get in here, which I wouldn't, because if we fill this, it could be so brutal. There ain't no way there's going to be possibly, I'm just saying it's, maybe scalp off of this, right? Another question is, how big are you trading? If you go to the daily chart, and that's one other thing is no nonsense Forex guys under trading the market so severely, he's on the daily with filters of volume, confirming big moves. And what he's going to say is, look, it's big down. I got in. See how much money I made? I got that, but what about when it doesn't work out? Like you buy here, because don't forget you're in an uptrend. I don't know. I don't actually. The funny thing is, I realize, why doesn't that guy want to show his system? It's not because he worked on it for 10 years. It's because he doesn't want anybody to go, dude, are you fucking nuts? But he's already revealed it, so I don't know. It's so funny. It's so funny. The other guy that was talking about trendline break, come back, I've done videos on that too, right? This trendline break, come back, retest. You still need to you still need to be trading at the market. I would say if you're going to do that closing trend line, you have to step up to the plate and get in on that fucking trade. You have to say, this is happening now. We are here now. It rarely happens. You could even make this claim. And I've done it on videos about trend lines, and I love geometry as much as the next guy. You could make this your entry point. Are you really going to load the wagon here? If we just touched it, actually. It's very touched. Are you going to trade cycles for real? Is this your cycle length? Are you really going to take that trade? And actually, the 5 period, these are the most vicious turnarounds. That's another thing Cardwell said that was amazing. He goes 2 to 5 period divergence. And this on RSI, I guarantee you that's divergence on RSI, if not a 2 period. Do I have to look at RSI now? No, because when I see this, look at this head and shoulders here on the daily gold. And this is why people say head and shoulders patterns don't work on close. Shoulder, head, shoulder. Yeah, because this wick destroyed the market makers just sheared their nuts off and like handed them to them. We just deballed you. Here's your nuts in your hand. They handed your head to you because the person that has limits in here, and look how they just kind of just stop hunt. I mean, this is like, talk about a double bottom. Is this a double bottom in Wicks? Yes. Is this a double bottom in close? Yeah, I'd say that's also divergence, and there's probably divergence here too. And then we go up, and then we get a wedge. We get this, well, we're trapped under this auction floor here. Accumulation's a bitch, especially when they do this shit. And what in the fuck was going on here? Is this FOMC? We knew that was a vulnerable area. I can't say that word. Vulnerable. We knew this was the kill zone, the danger zone. But this is where we have to have our orders because we just have to be counterintuitive. We'd have sell limits up here just the same. But this is a giant vault now above us. The track, the left behind, this is a hole that's beyond hole. And this hole too. If you're just going to trade for dollars on gold, consider where you're at in any picture. If you come in here like this and then you go, how do I turn off the auto shift here? So if I go back like this, and you're just looking for those kind of setups, like, but don't change your risk as far as dollars. Look at this motherfucking rip. This is your only chance to get long. You don't even get a, well, here you do get a top become a bottom on Wicks. So this top becomes a bottom, and it closes there, and you would have got filled a little deep, right? If you're going to trade on the Wicks, you're taking more risk. On closing prices, since they don't move as much, right? That wick does not, this close is just like, it's just, but it looks beautiful. It's a perfect stair step. But what is how tight is your stop? I mean, look at are you really going to tell me that the market makers aren't just kicking people's asses to death by putting sell limits against these hopeful trend traders? To fade the trend trader really is what you're doing. Because isn't this in an uptrend here? As they wick into this, it's just like, oh, look, it's going to keep going. No, it's not. I'm sorry. She's got a disease. It's not. This lonely wick here is the glory hole for the sellers. They're like, oh, yeah, we love you. We love you, bulls. Aw. Did you say what's going up? Yeah, we draw a trend line. Here's your trend line break. Come back here argument. But are you really going to get on? And is your trade plan dialed into this criteria? Look, another wedge shearing. Look at that. Woof. Vicious. Flies back here. And then look at this. Just people running their trailing stops until one day, another deep discount auction. So if you're going back 10 days or whatever it is, whatever the market's asking of you, I could scroll back in time. It's so obvious. Even the people that trade Gartleys would trade this shit because their Gartley depends on this bullshit. This swing low to swing high thing, and they get swing high to swing low thing, and they get in here. They always get in this trap. They don't realize why their dumb shit Gartley even works is because these two triangles, right? And the entry is based on this, right? And they're like, oh, we got a Gartley. Yeah, but dude, there's a Gartley within the Gartley. Like, you don't need it's like you don't need RSI once you figure out it's been designed on closing prices. You know what divergence looks like. This has got to be some kind of divergence, and if it's not, it's divergence on trend line. This trend line does not complete. It's a momentum divergence. I mean, I guess it's a bottomless pit of how you could use a trend line, but you still need a trade plan for it. Are you selling here because of that? Your indicator flashing buy, without regard to this story? And when they crush through that, they're like, holy fuck you. Right, because they never got this price. It fell in that hole. It's still the premium price, and then it goes full tilt retard in golf. Bam, 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 bam. It just shears that shit off. But this is because this is a bigger hole. The bigger hole dominates until it's filled. And the market's satisfied, it just moves on. It's just a big fucking wrecking ball. It really is a wreck. That's why 90% or whatever traders lose, because people are getting into these fucking trades with harebrained ideas that they don't even fucking see who's trading around them. Let's look back again on gold. Yes, you can make the trend trader's argument and claim how you're a trend trader, and what you did was you got an overbought situation in the downtrend and you sold here. And you're like, oh my God, I love this trading system. And maybe your low volume is keeping, this is the dream of no nonsense, is that he wouldn't be dumb enough to get into that trade like here where it's just bullshit. And you're just like, they're churning your account only because you decided to get in. You don't have a trade plan designed for this low volatility bullshit that lasted all month. In gold, you couldn't wait for this auction. Here's a nice auction, dead cat bounce. Failed auction, I must say. Nope, nobody's going to have it. Besides, this looming vacuum is too much pressure. And great sucking sound. Here, too. If you didn't scalp out of something here, you never made it back to here. This is the early scalper. That's the confirmation. Breakout, come back. It doesn't always have to do that. This Albert Brooks thing, you know, when you make qualifiers like this is a big trend change, I don't think that's really, if you're going to trade more than one currency pair, you're going to go looking at the dailies and go, yeah, this is a big deal. You know, can I afford to buy into that? And and the answer is yes, can I afford to buy into that? You would just pick up that whole fucking thing and then scalp out of something on the floor in case that is not going to engulf. It's just every move's going to be unique. Having a rule list like that is just too ruly. You know, I like to buy low, sell high. I like to have the market come into a blanket of my limits. Ideally, I don't want to trade at the market. I don't want to trade on stops. Ideally, I want to literally pick the fucking prices myself. So I'm doing that right now. So I actually did. I am trading this with real money. So it's a little disturbing. Once again, I feel like it's the old days of trading multiple currency pairs. But I'm buying the dollar CAD as it crushes into the weekend here. I'm buying a dollar yen. I'm using a 40 pip and a 20 pip stop. I'm still along the euro dollar, and it's creeper gear. And I'm expecting insanity because the other markets are closed, so it'll be kind of illiquid and just very jumpy. High swing trading, so I'm going to run very wide stops Sunday night. But I do think it's doable. Right now I'm long the euro, waiting for the dollar to plunge into the floor. Got 2 hours of trading left. But yeah, that's set it, forget it trading to me. I thought was bullshit. And the guys love him to death, but well, at least the guy from Trader's Way has the balls to put all that bullshit pivots up, fibs, moving averages, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, holy fuck, dude. It's like when I went to Italy when I was a kid. I think I was 16 years old or 14 years old, and I go in this restaurant in Naples, Italy, and I said to the waiter, yeah, I'd like to get a pizza, you know. He goes, oh, what do you want? He goes, what do you want on it or something? Or I don't even know if he asked me what I wanted on it. He just stood there, and I started to say, yeah, can I get green peppers? And I said, can I get, banana peppers, red peppers? Can I get onions? I went like pure vegetable on that thing. Pineapple, bacon. I think it was before my Hawaiian bacon pizza days. Somebody turned me on to Hawaiian with bacon pineapple, and I said, that doesn't sound right at all. Turned out that was the best thing in the world. And he says to me, the waiter in the restaurant in Italy says, He looks at me kind of pissed off and he goes, "Would you like a salad?" So apparently I've gone beyond the parameters of what a pizza is over there. Is just like, it's about the cheese, the olive oil, and the dough. I don't even think there was pepperoni in it. Maybe. But they're just like, dude, this is like, don't even, you're going to fuck up the bread we made all this time. You're going to put a salad on top of our bread. What the fuck is wrong with you? So when you buy pizza in America, you can get, like a salad on top. I like the cheese infused crust. Would you like it? We used to get Cajun crust. We'd amp it up. Can you get that pizza amped up a little bit? I call my local pizza place. Can I get MACD on the side? You put Ranko right on the pizza, though. Interesting, but no, this auction theory to me, I got goosebumps when I saw the guy explain it. I go, you mean to tell me this whole time I've been trying to like smooth out the data with my fancy indicators that this whole time, you mean to tell me? I was like, don't even tell me that. I don't even want to know. Like, it was like the Mueller report. Oh no, really? There's nothing bad happened? This guy's legitimately out of his mind, creative president. Make America creative again. Make America think again. Good Lord. I saw the guy in India was voted in. What's going to happen? The UN's going to just fucking want to do an investigation now. What's going on with these dictatorships folding? Oh my God. Look at this gold chart. The manipulation. And this is another thing. I've heard this belly aching from all these fucking losers that trade gold. The guys that stack gold claim manipulation. Well, they just keep intervening. The government just keeps coming. Yeah, well, tell me the story of Bitcoin at 8,000, please. What a bunch of harebrained shit. It's just so harebrained. It's just proven fact that anytime the market moves, like look at the Chinese thing, and people say, or look at the stock market pulling back. Never, Dow Jones could not take out the high, even though NASDAQ did, and NASDAQ was leading the whole party. People, they do stories like, oh, well, I went to Zero Hedge in the story of why the market sold off. Really? Do you really think that's why it sold off? No, dude, the market sold. I mean, there's worse news than that, and the market stands and looks at it and goes, so what? The proof that news is bullshit. I had this argument with this guy once. No news, look at the news came out. Dude, I mean, how do you explain the whole meltdown? And oh, sure, it retraced 500 pips, but really, it wasn't totally. There's no. Was the news? Okay, there's a lot heavier news that doesn't seem to be driving the market. And people are like, well, it's already priced in. That was the old saw. It's already priced in the market. So I don't even know what to say. But yeah, look around. Look around at all this shit. You could have a trade plan for even the trend lines. So yeah, I think that because this guy's talking about Albert Brooks saying, and this is just too many fucking rules. First break of a channel, then a retest before seeing 10 bars, 2 legs correction. Dude, 10 bars, 2 legs is a way of saying it's not the zigzag. It's a longer. I get it. But this, when people say, I need 10 bars, okay, well, I'm saying I need 2 bars. I need 0, 1, 2, right? I need a double bottom. The only way to get a double bottom is to have 3 bars of data. That's true. But what if it's a 15 bar pattern, or was this a big stretched out thing? And not to mention, we don't know how long the auction goes on until somebody steps in, or enough people step in, or people step out and go, we're done with this. This thing's been raped. We have to get a new girlfriend. And you don't forget there's a structure of people saying, well, see, this double top became a bottom. That's why I bought. And they're like, yeah, okay. But this guy's saying, I bought this and I scaled in here. And maybe they both have the same amount of money and wins, pretty rare, but the guy that bought this structure said, I'm putting a stop here and I'm going to get out up here, right? Where does he get out? Well, he's going to safely get out here. It keeps going. So anywhere on here, if I just did, this is like quick and dirty back testing. Look at this fucking run in gold. Explain this to me. You got some explaining to do. Now, this is when people say, how dare you make fun of a trend trader? Can't you see this fucking move? And I say, I can, but what explains that move? This. Unfair. Right? Sellers come in here, right? The breakout is where you get in on confirmation. 10 bars, major trend reversal. You've just got to see that anytime you put more than 2 rules on, you're fucked. If you're going to trade on limits, you know the rules. If you're going to trade on at the market, you got to know the rules for those trades. And if you trade stop entry, you got to know the rules for those. So each of those 3 entry techniques would need a different. And hopefully it's not going to be this 1% bullshit, because the structure is telling you, dude, this is the best trade for you at this moment in time. I don't think the market can see your account going, well, this guy's only risking 1%. Let's give him a break. We'll let him win for a little bit. Oh, that's the sickest. The more I think about that, I just hate when people think like that. It's fucking retarded. So how do you explain this move? Market goes unfair value here. I don't know price. This is gold, but I don't even know what price it is because I can't see the goddamn price. This is something like 1,200. I don't know. The sellers are supposed to come in, and it's probably 2 period divergence here. Here also is a 3-bar trigger. You're running out of momentum. We know it's divergence against this trend line, and this is a trend. Okay, this is the daily chart. I'm sure a guy with a 4-hour trend bot picked up so much money on this, but he lost it all here. He lost it all here. This doesn't have, even though it's going up, there's too many stop punts in that. It's a daily gold chart in 2017, 2 years ago in gold. Are you a gold trader? Are you bullish? Oh, this thing's going to break out here, dude. I'm going to make so much fucking money. I got in down here. You're just getting punished while you hold this trade. Well, you got to be a trooper. You got to stick with the trade plan. No, you don't. You could just be a fucking opportunist and come in and go, I'm buying here. I'm getting out here. I'm buying this. I'm selling this. I'm buying this. I'm selling this. Buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. You're range trading this. Because this negates, this blows away every up. You can't tell me this isn't an uptrend when the pullbacks are punishing you harder than the thrusts up. This is your only thrust up, and this is a total trap into this window on this top. And then bye-bye. Say bye-bye to you. Oh, your lagging indicator finally caught up, and let me guess, no nonsense Forex sold here. And look, he back tested it. It makes money, see? I risked 1% in my account, and then I put a trailing stop at break even, and I wrote it to here. Maybe that's why he doesn't. That's why the banks are making money, because maybe the banks or maybe the market makers are gobbling this shit up, and then it goes full retard auction to here, to here, to here, engulfs. Is this the engulfment or is this an uptrend? Well, for some guy, that's an uptrend on the 4-hour chart. He's like, dude, you should see the triangles on the 4-hour as we crush. But if he knows where he's going in context of, we're riding the engulf. Get out the trend bots, people. But get out the most unique trend bots that have ever been built, because the curve-fitted ones that have ever seen this insane retracement, the most brutal, pissed off gold market retracement I can think of in ages. I don't think nothing really compares, honestly. Because when they crush up here, one chance to buy in a pullback, no chance. Doji, no chance, no chance, no chance, no chance, a chance to buy. But we're already up in this window. And we've already got the deep fucking sellers here, because this is so, and this isn't just one of those stair steps. These are the Elbert Brook past entrance, the 10 bar double top. Yeah, the 10 bar double top is going to have a huge influence. They're only able to pull it back here. You get a double bottom. You probably get a little bit of a more oversold, higher price breakout confirmation. One more blast. Got to go after these treetops. They sell that. They pull it back to this. And it's on and on. But this pressure that built up here, and this was such an orderly sell-off and not a higher high and not a chance to sell either. Why are people pissed off about what they consider to be gold manipulation when all it is people shooting the whole herd of goobers, and that includes the bankers, includes every gold mining. You really think that people are that the big banks are in control of the market? They would just take themselves out of their own trade. It doesn't make any sense. Well, not every big banker's making money. I mean, Citibank must be winning while Merrill Lynch is losing, right? Bank of America is losing and Barclays is making money. Right? Not all the banks are making money either at the same time against the goobers. What? These are harebrained thoughts, man. It ain't going to help you trade gold. Look at this fucking move here. Well, all those zero hedges, they said, yeah, look at this auction. And it's a whole different character to it. I just can't believe people fall in that for that flat earth shit. Looking at this move here. Oh, so here's the big retracement, but look at this entry here. This is I guarantee this is more overbought at a lower price slightly than this. Double top in a downtrend. You sold here. Against no nonsense. He would buy there. If you had placed buy limits all the way down here with a wide stop, could you have gotten out here? Was there all sorts of buy stop traps here where you got fucked? If you couldn't trade, if you have buy limits sitting here and that's your trade, and you're going to scalp all these things, the daily charts, you're going to make a mint on the daily chart, right? But if you got an indicator that is waiting for criteria on the daily, and then the guy says, this no-nonsense Forex guy, at the very end of his review, about everything I've taught you this year, everybody got their pencils out. Don't forget, they put a eraser on there because we make mistakes. He's going to talk about metals and oil. Later on, is a wrap-up. And it's supposed to in June and August, he's going to come out with his proprietary, he's probably going to try to, he's looking for people to join. We need some people to press buttons for us. Apparently you people qualify because you've listened to my Blackboard analysis and you are truly, as Rush Limbaugh would say, minds of mush ready to be molded. I can mold you to be a disciplined trader. Can you? Can I be a Scientologist on the side? Well, you could, but then once you get in, you can't get out. It's like the Roach Motel. I can't unring that bell. Let's walk forward with the Goober bot in mind. No nonsense Forex guy is going to be like, we keep getting stopped out about it. What you guys do is stick with it. You're only risking 1% of your account, remember? Look at the walk forward in gold. You got trade plans for this shit? They're so difficult. There is not a fucking indicator that's going to tell you, you got to think about selling up here. You better think about selling up here, and you really should think about selling up here high. You should think about buying down here. Now, don't forget, you're going to have to do more than one trade plan up at this top because you may not get your target. You may have to have like a bunch of tickets in there. And you may not be able to trade everything all at once. Look at this collapse to the floor. And I've seen this a million times. Top tick Tommy, then through the floor. And this is probably a news event. And then you got your classic trend line on wicks, which is your volatility trend line. Then you have your trend line on close, which is the trend line. Completely different world. Then there's only one chance to sell. And the trailing limit people that are very stingy, the ones that are stop hunting the bears money management bots. And here's where they get clobbered, right? You can only play that game for so long too. You got a trailing reversal here, and you go long, right? You're coming up into that window, and they grab your ticket, and they smash it down. The next bar is down. Yes, you've been raped. We never make it to here. We do, by the way, make it past this bottom wick. If you consider this to be your support, you do crash into that, and that is the selling. Another selling impetus here is the last known low. Breaks, takes out this high, comes back to that low. Look at more down. That's price action sound. And then here, look at the scalpers make a few bucks back to here. Counter trend scalpers is tanking, but the breakout traders, I forgot to mention the breakout traders. So it's 3 people trading this. The breakout traders, hopefully they got filled here on this narrow day before the crush. See how that works, like kind of narrowish day. I can say that's the best trade. Hey, you know what? Inverted hammer here. Don't forget, inverted hammer trade. Maybe you're short on the limit tail. Here's a nice goober breakout trade. Small bar, filled only on the short side with bracketed buy stops, completely different technique. Here, another instant karma confirmation. 2 total fucking winners. Did you have profits set to here? Maybe not. And that's why you have to have multiple tickets on that strategy. Otherwise, why fucking bother? Here you got trapped. Here you cleaned up. Did you have targets that were down in Hellville? Here you cleaned up. Now here's your classic price pulse measured move. The ultimate low volatility entry window on the daily, and your complete price pulse golden once every 45 bars. Once every, how many do you see that? Here's a different version, right? Drag this to the highest close. Actually overshot your target. The problem is when you start to do that, okay, it's not a problem, but this price pulse here, yeah, but that's your target. Trade's over. That's the 1-2 punch. Pulls back, they cock the gun, right? You find the highest close. That's the Cardwell trick. There's your projection. So I don't need to see RSI to make that. I can see that all over the place. Pulls back, you get in. You got one chance to pull back. It's a trend trade. It's a price pulse move trade. Look at this, how it's plunging down. Now, if you don't see this coming, like, okay, you're going to buy this. You got to picture yourself doing this. And you start to get filled, and you're like, holy shit. But you had to have thought that this, you're willing to bet to here, and then here is where you really get in heavy as fuck. But on the way there, and it's down at the end of the day. So you bought your market orders, you place. If it's really down big, you buy, and then you buy. So you see how that works? You have, I would stay away from the stop entries unless you have a small bar. I can't imagine putting a buy stop up here, even though technically it is a winning trade, right? In hindsight, it cut through there, but you're just taking out too much risk. If you have a buy stop here and a sell stop here, you could non-directionally trade also. The beauty of breakout, hedge breakouts, or getting into a hedge here with tight stops. The other alternative is that when the market's quiet, you build a hedge, or you pick a direction there. But those market orders are going to be tighter stops, and you really have to say, okay, I'm going to accumulate here. I just am. Even if it's like, okay, here you never got filled on your buy limits, but you bought because it's down. You bought because it's down. This one came to break even, and that's why you see the reaction at those prices. That's why that is a pivot, because price over time does matter to people. They're like, God, this trade's not, or this is fair value, right? This is unfair, fair value. But you have to assume, what is it right now? Let's go to reality now. What are we at now? Oh God, let's see, where are we at? So we're way up here now. Well, you figure we're an uptrend. The daily is going up. Go to the 4-hour and start putting your buy limits. Right? You're always going to buy down here. And then you're going to buy way more here. And that's just how it is. So if you want to get in the market now, it's going to be like, okay, dude, just buy right now. Just buy now. You got top, become a bottom. You're about to crush this window. Do you want to scalp out for the rest of the day? Buy now. It's a market order. The last hour is down. It's no questions asked. Buy with a tight stop at the market, gold. There you go. But, you know, if you're on the 1-hour chart, you can see that if you can handle this punishment, and I guess I'm going against what I said earlier, but only because I think the spread would get in your way here, but that's an obvious... If not buy at the market, you could have put a buy stop and a sell stop here. But the market order is actually better. See, you get a better price. Are you really going to put a buy stop there? Hopefully you had the realization that this was a swing low and you need to gobble this area up on limits and just set it and forget it. You could have bought at the market here. You would have got a better price on a buy stop. But here at the market, you got a better price than that buy stop. And don't forget, if you didn't delete this stop, they trapped you short here. The stop hunt is going to be the best entrance. And that's why I think that it's more likely we're going to keep cutting north, because they got this bozo. Okay. The guy that's short on that, he's eventually going to tap out and have to buy it back himself. Right, so that's what creates an auction, and that's why it engulfs, because it'll go wick to wick, because people are like, holy shit, that is not a breakout. Sarge, that ain't no breakout. Reverse. Dive. You know, got to hear the Ooga horn. Look at weekly, so looking at weekly gold, just to close out here, weekly gold. Wow, you know, so look at this, all this trading that's been going on the weekly. This looks like a wave forward. It looks very bullish. Right here's your trend line break, or here's your from wicks to close. And I guess you could say, you know what? They did some nice stop hunting here. Are we going up on gold? Looks pretty bullish, actually. I think inflation is coming. Hell, if Bitcoin's going up, gold's got to chase it down. But just don't ever forget that this brutality up here is possible at any moment. Here is your flag on the weekly before the plunge to Hellville. Here is your monster auction. The sellers do come in at the floor. They pull it back down here, and this is where it becomes quite the structure insanity. They actually come back to this top before ripping north. And now we're here. Are we done tanking? Is this the floor? Is this a wedge? Is this wave 4? Is this wave 2? So look at the monthly. I almost got to get rid of these handles now. Yeah, just another range trade on the monthly. Doesn't look like anything on the monthly. Anyways, it's all about this how tight your stop thing. Sadly enough, so I am trading with 40 pip stops, because I'm trading these gutter pairs, dollar CAD, dollar CAD. My next one will be the These fucking this swipe shit is pissing me off. I just swiped the wrong way. Windows, it's down's off. I think up. I don't know. Reboot it here. Market closes in an hour and change. So I want to hold something into the opening of. I want to hold something over the weekend with a wide stop too. I also get a kick out of that. Fake or real money. I get a kick out of doing what you're not supposed to do in the market. I think that's my most fun. And that's why I think everybody is wrong. They're not everybody's wrong, but man, some of the stuff out there. Come on, really, you gotta take off your tinfoil hat. Look at the Australian dollar retracement. Now, if you had the balls to buy into this, wow. I think we're coming to the auctioneer's floor. Look at this fucker. 100 pips into this window. What a rape. Look at this thing screaming back. It's pissed off. Nobody makes babies sit in the corner. I think the trend traders have had their fun. And of course, this whole algorithm here, this 4-period, you know what? It'll be a long time before you see that pattern again. That's another thing guaranteed. I guarantee you that this is every 5 months, if you're lucky, you're going to see a move like that cyclically. Look at these glorious crushes. Ba-bam. Now it looks like retracement. It's retracement time, people. Please hold. Retracement time, people. When I discovered the retracement, and I really didn't know it was an auction back then, I just thought, look at this retrace. Holy shit. And I thought, look, it's actually going to take out the high of the previous. I'm like, what could possibly cause that? I'm thinking, very unfair value, overshoots the runway, engulfs the whole motherfucker, and then it goes unfair, and then it ends up unchanged back in the fair value, and you get a doji on the monthly, and you're like, what just happened? They just top 100 everybody. Just ain't fair what they're doing. I know, son, them's the market makers doing that. I'm on the forward chart, so I'm doing all my trades on the forward chart. Buying the dollar yen as it plunges. I don't think I'm going to get filled, though. Dollar cat I'm buying as it plunges. Boy, it's creeper gear. Ain't nobody trading. It's a holiday. Okay, so anyways, yeah, that's so some guy just emailed me. He said he had $500 he wants to trade the market. Well, I don't know. I mean, how frequently do you want to trade? If you put in $10 stops on each ticket, 1Ks with a 100 pip stop, you can trade 50 tickets before you blow up the account. So with a 100 pip stop, you could probably trade maybe 8 pairs. I mean, not because there's 8 pairs, but I mean the first 7 pairs in the first majors. I always put up euro to the yen is my 8th currency pair out of the 7 majors to make the screen. And if you placed orders in there and your target's 2 weeks, okay, you could probably do those trades. Of course, it's all presupposing you have the patience for that and you're going to place all those tickets. Or are you going to fire up the, what is it, M16s and the AR-15s, and you become a sniper? Are you going to scan? The other guy was talking about the tick chart. The tick chart, unless you're really in big and you're really willing to get the fuck in and out frequently, the tick chart is, I look at it to just remind myself the market goes up and down. I look at it and go, oh, I can kind of see the entry here, and I could trade it if I had to, but I don't really want to bother. It's exciting, but it takes a lot of energy. I'm just getting lazier and lazier. I want to go buy some ice cream. So, let's see how fat I can get. That's my goal. Hey, look at this. We're getting some action here. Stocks are going to close here in 15 minutes, so there'll be some drama. But yeah, the swing trading thing, if an 8-hour sell off and it's coming into this pocket that you pre-planned and you're like, okay, I know the risk, that's my favorite trade. Catch a falling knife. The breakout trade, yeah, I think if you look at this, in other words, the trend trade, technically speaking, is getting in on any kind of pullback and saying, oh yeah, it's going up. I mean, you obviously think it's going to keep going up. But if you think that you're in noise and it's just going to chop people to death, then you have to expect that. But if it goes in a trend mode, are you willing to be half a trend trader and half a range trader? That would be the ultimate, because then you'd be like, oh, you know what? It looks like it's going to keep going up, but I can still use my counter trend trading. And you really are if you're going to take profits as it's going up. So you should agree with the other trader. In the end, you should see the other guy's trade, even though you know that right now the bulls are in charge and you're a bull. But it's not going to stay like that. And it doesn't have to stay like that. On a tick chart, you'll see it pull back. And I guess the only thing about staring at a tick chart, it's just a constant reminder that it's a choppy ride. When the news comes out and the chick cart, yeah, a cart full of chicks, when it goes spastic, you're like, wow. I mean, it's amazing to watch. The only really use of a tick chart, in my opinion, is that get 3 brokers, get 3 tick charts, tick charts, and arbitrage, and just have your finger on the trigger. If you're really going to trade like that, just be like, have the fastest server on some demo account where, they want you to deposit 20 grand or some shit. And you're like, 20 grand? Like, yeah, this is Citibank, we're the big boys. No, get a different quote system. Get a different, it's not even a broker. Get like a different service for your live tick data, which just blows my mind. You can get live tick data for free. And look at that and know, okay, what's the leading edge when that thing moves? Like, this is the big boys tick chart. Then you could pull the trigger on your bucket shop and you'd be like, fuck, dude, I just saved myself like 3 pips. I just saved myself 5 pips. I got to jump on it. And then that's fun too. It just depends where you fit in, right? Because you may not always be like, I think when I started playing guitar, I want to be a lead guitarist. Then I played scales, and then I realized that being a rhythm guitarist was actually more fun. And actually, it's like being a bass player seems like nobody wants to be the bass player because they're not Jimi Hendrix. But I love being a bass player because I had to, because there was too many guitarists. So I went and bought a bass guitar, and I didn't have the money. I had somebody loan me for it. I had to say, no, you got to trust me on this one. So I ended up playing, bass guitar. And I got tendonitis because the strings are fat. But, boy, when I'm back to guitar, I almost would rather play bass, actually, at this point, because it just sounds so fucking fat. And it is the core structure of the song. The guitar, okay, that's the tick chart. The guitar solo, whatever. But, the trend is the chorus in the song. And then the bass line is solid. It's just holding a note, maybe. Whereas the verse is the story, that's the chop. The story is the noise. The chorus is the unified move. But there's not a lot of choruses. I mean, songs they're like the market, 80% verse. Although these days, they can force a trend trade because the hook is literally, dude, like, really? I got it. I'm already addicted to the song, okay? You know, uh, I love the song, so leave me alone already. Okay, so I think this broker closes at 4 actually. This one I'm looking at right now, but yeah. So happy holidays and all that. It should be fun to see the markets go berserkoid from lack of anybody holding the other markets. There's nobody in the other trades, so okay, I'm getting all pissed off at this tablet. Swipe up, swipe down. Okay, so the CAD's recovering. They're going to crush the dollar yen. They're gonna beat the shit. They're gonna beat the shit out of it. Dollar's fucked. It's that China. It's that China deal. That's what it is. They're coming after me. So they're coming after my limit orders now. I'm gonna take the hit from trading multiple currency pairs. Diversification of punishment. It's like a hedge. Okay, so it looks like dollar. It looks like the euro dollar is gonna take off some there. All right, it's time to take a nap. I'm over it. Fuck all these people with these holiday parades. I asked my friend what he's gonna do on the holidays. Like nothing. These people are gonna go out to some picnic. I remember my family made me go on these holiday picnics. God, if I could have just escaped, if I could have run away, if I could have a cloaking device, I would have just never. I'd be like, I'm out of here. I'm so out of here. But the beauty of it isn't now when the holidays do come, the fact that I don't have to show up at these family functions just makes me giddy. We're all going to go out and we're going to get a picnic and we're going to get ants going to crawl on us. We're going to get bit by mosquitoes. Don't you want to come along? There's horseflies up north. We could just go up and get devoured. If anybody's seen it bitten by a horsefly, let me tell you something. This is not a housefly. This is a horsefly. And I'm like, you mean his hoofs? Is that why I'm in pain? Somebody put hot horseshoes on? They didn't let him cool off. The blacksmith loaded him hot. Okay, so looks like the market's closed early here. I don't see anything going on. It looks like the dollar is just, I am still bullish on the dollar CAD. I am buying this fucker on dips, I swear to God. Okay, so good luck with the, a lot of the stuff people are saying. So the guy says, is it wrong for me to abandon diagonal lines altogether? I just don't think, these are kind of like confirmation upon, like if you got into a trade and you're like, okay, I kind of look at it like confirmation to stay in the trade. Hey, look at this. I got tops becoming bottoms. I wouldn't put the weight on it for entry or exit. I'm just like, oh, look at it. We got dollar CAD. Dollar's going up against CAD, obviously drifting up. This could be a trap up here. It could be the top. This could be a double top. Hopefully I made enough money on this plunge here on the weekly. Right, I scalped out of this weekly wick. And I knew I had to get out of something in here. And I'm flat, and I'm going to buy in limits down here. At the end of the day, I could say, well, look at this. I'm still kind of... I would use it to rationalize your trade and say, I'm staying in because, look, we're still at the bottom area of it. I'm still inside of a flag that's still forming, for God's sakes. I do prefer to use it, and this is what you'll see most people do. even ICT says, I'm going to get in the trade, see how I feel. Okay, great. If I got in during this accumulation phase or this flagging, I'd be like, you know what? It looks to me at some point we're going to break this out. Let me just keep buying in the middle of fair value here. I'll just take these sell-offs here. I wouldn't put weight. I can think a big mistake is people are saying, well, can I tweak my system? Well, you can't just have one system. I'm just talking about myself. I can't have just one system because I discovered that I guess I used to think that I'll read a book and I'll go, no, this is how you trade. No, there's other people around you doing limit orders that are making a mint. There's market makers that are making a mint while you're in your trend trade. While you're holding through the accumulation phase and painstakingly, and some guy was telling me about no-nonsense Forex trade where he got in here, and granted it was a winning trade. He got in here, and he got out here. I'm just saying this can be a little disturbing to sit through. Just saying. Yeah, I know you built your algorithm. Market can't see it. Market don't give a fuck about your algorithm. Or your bad rhythm. Or your musical taste that suck. Boy, I wish they would have come down here and filled these tickets, and that's why sometimes you got to overpay at the 100-yard line. I know the 100-yard line doesn't matter, but it matters at least for doing the math here. Because it didn't matter here. Right? When it came up there, it wasn't at the 100. Even though you could say, oh, look, it's 100-ish. I also don't think the market sees the 100-yard line. It just looks like a great place to say, well, look at this thing. It's easy for me to do the math. With a 100 pip stop, it's actually like this or something. Or this is 50 pip stop. I think it's better to let the market choose your stop. So you're going to buy here with a stop here. You're going to buy this window. This is also, don't forget, this is the Gartley entry. It's all the same thing. Anyways, good luck. Good luck with the holiday trading.